everyone, this is Dan and the Future Holds Crypto. So, as you have seen, we had a very important event this week, and we're talking about the US election. Also, we talked about the fact that Bitcoin showed some signs of decoupling, and of course, the markets have been influenced by the election themselves this week. And you have seen that Bitcoin actually had an impressive rise to almost $16,000, and that's a very good thing for Bitcoin. And it was actually a very exciting ride up. Of course, it usually is when it's up, and you're holding and you're not shorting. So basically, we had an impressive ride up. Bitcoin almost reached $16,000. We had a major event, and that actually, I think that to some degree is related to what happened to the markets, because the market themselves and the stock market actually recovered most of what it lost in the past few weeks. And the Bitcoin also, as I said, they almost went to $16,000, and I think these actually are related to each other. And it's interesting that I've seen this before. Basically, the markets react before an event happens. So the people are getting enthusiastic, and they invest before the actual event happens. And everybody expects that when the event is confirmed or the decision is made, the price to go even further up. And sometimes, or usually, what I've seen in the past is that people are ending up being disappointed because the change or the confirmations was already priced in. So we are looking today as Joe Biden was actually confirmed as president today. I think that at least on all the media channels, I know that I've seen a tweet or some statement from Donald Trump saying that it's not yet official, so probably we'll have to wait for Monday to see how it goes with that. But definitely, basically, we might face something like that here as well. I mean, we see a drop in price after the confirmation. And I'm curious to see if actually this will translate into the stock market as well. By the way, this is not financial advice. I'm just a guy looking on the data. This is just for entertainment purposes only, and I'm only sharing my opinion on what's going on here. So basically, I think that it's not necessarily bad. I mean, we did have a drop, but come on, it's not that big. And something that I also wanted to mention here is that I saw a lot of people actually comparing this period here to November, December 2017. From my perspective, that's actually I wouldn't go there. I mean, the December of 2017 was the end of the bull run, right? And we now should be at the beginning of the bull run, hopefully, because we still need to pass the all-time high. So to get a confirmation from my perspective, but we might be at the beginning of the bull run. So I wouldn't get why, I actually don't get why people are looking at November and December 2017. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Please comment below and put give me your opinion on this. But basically, when it was in November, December 2017, Bitcoin was actually in price discovery. It didn't have any resistances or anything related from the past, because it never went there before, right? And as you see here, in the end of the bull run, it usually is faster. The moves are more aggressive up. Beginning of the bull run, it's not. It grabs velocity in time, but so that's why I'm saying I believe, from my perspective, that we are actually at the beginning of the bull run. By the way, I'm looking at Bitcoin now, and I told you in the last week as well. I think this correlation with the stock market is important, in the terms of, if we see a big event that makes the stock market drop, or have a very big drop in one day. We've seen that in the past. Bitcoin was, or the whole market, the crypto market was affected as well, very actually greatly. So if we're decoupling in terms of not being so much affected by stuff like that, and it would be, of course, great for Bitcoin itself. So the fact that we have seen it decouple from the stock market since September, that's a good thing. And actually, also wanted to show you something here before going back to that. Basically, since September, yeah, this is September when it dropped a little bit. So actually gained, well, in price when it was the highest point, 62%, but we have to go a little bit down. So here, 48%, right? So it grew up 48%. Bitcoin grew from $10,000, right? So while the stock market was dropping and then recovered, of course. But if we keep this and we are decoupled, because I'm thinking about the fact that we're not in a very stable situation, not from the elections themselves yet, not from the stimulus bill, and the of course the most important thing, the pandemic situation in United States, in the whole world. Yeah, that's. But I'm going to come back to this a little bit later in the video. So basically, I see that from my perspective, this is we should be comparing to November, December 2016, because that's when the bull run basically was getting started. So I'm just playing around here, right? I'm not I'm not an expert in technical analysis. I'm just looking at the data, just trying to make some sense out of this from my perspective. So please keep that in mind. If you want real TA, you should look at other channels like blockchain backer, for example. He's great. But let's find a similar point in time, right? So for looking, I have to delete this. Okay. So looking here in this is on a weekly, by the way, in a similar point in time. In 2016, before it reached the all-time high, the previous all-time high from 2013, we were somewhere here, with and it was 24% down from the previous all-time high in 2013. So let's say that basically that's the point that is similar to this one, where we are at today, because we're at 25 or something like percent away from the previous all-time high, right? So if we consider this and we try to compare to the same point in time, which is here actually, you would see that actually copied this fractal and put it here. So this is on a weekly basis. So what does this mean? Well, first of all, it means that, I mean, of course, this might not at all repeat, but you know what I'm trying to do here in this channel. I'm trying to prepare people not to get too emotional, and also to be emotionally prepared for situations where you have big drops or situations in general that make you lose money by selling low and buying high. So if you look here, basically after the week that actually went up to to a similar price that we did have today, that is very similar to what we have today. Afterwards, we have a big price drop, a week, an entire week, actually 2 weeks, that went down, and actually it went down to with 34%. So that's around $11,000. So keep that in mind. I mean, it's easy to look back, right? It's easy to look back and see here, man, it was really fast and it went upwards fast, but these are actually weeks, right? So imagine yourself next week, if this happens, of course, that it drops with 30%. Are you okay with that? You should be, because even if it's if we started the bull run, I mean, nothing goes up straight and only up. It also makes corrections on the way. It actually goes like this, but it goes up. So you have to expect situations like this. Don't make any rash decisions. But so I'm just trying to find similar stuff in the past and see, and basically from this to prepare myself for emotionally for stuff like that, and to create a little bit realistic expectations, or not necessarily realistic, but a different type of expectation based on situations that can happen. So basically, as you can see here, when we are reaching the all-time high, if this fractal by any chance has any will actually play out, this will be in January 2021, and then it has a problem. It could drop, and then after the next time we break and continue up the previous all-time high, it's in March. So we might be in for a longer ride, right? Because everybody's saying, yo, it's very close to December. It's the similar situation in December or November 2017. We should be reaching the all-time high very fast and stuff like that. So it might be the case where we are actually we have to be a little bit more patient to get there. I'm not saying maybe we are going to get there, but at least to be prepared for scenario similar to this. Also, I saw something at BC Backer. People are saying that, and including myself at one point, I said that there are not too many resistances after 13.8, but BC Backer is actually working with fractals, with Fibonacci extensions a lot, and he's saying that there are some prices here that can act like resistances, and he was talking about 7.0786, and if you close in here, we actually kind of touched it. So maybe we're side note, but matter a lot for the previous cycle, but you never know. What happened here? So only this one was touched but the others were broken through very easily in the previous bull run. But this was indeed okay. So this was no, those were easily broken through. But yeah, so keep in mind this might be a longer run. At least be prepared for this possibility. Also, keep in mind something else. In the past, alts had, or actually in 2017, altcoins had two breakouts. So we had one in April, right? In March, it began in March, extended till May. So that was actually the biggest one, and people tend to forget this even with XRP, because the people are trying to, not trying, but saying that, oh, XRP fell a lot in price and stuff like that. It did fell a lot in price, but they also forget that the price in January 2017 was actually $0.005. So the first pump, it was actually, if we take it from here, it's almost, actually it was 11,000%, right? So that's 110x, right? And the second pump, well, if you depending on how do you put it, if you go from here to here, in total was 800 or x, but probably I'll have to change it because I want, let's take it from here. So around 500x. But in the first one, it actually went to 50x, right? So it kept this first pump. But what I wanted to say here, I wanted to say that basically 17. It was one in March and another one in December, when Bitcoin also went to the all-time high. So first of all, it's interesting that basically this happened only once in 2017. Hopefully we'll have something similar. So depending on when the alts will explode, we'll know if we'll have one or two. And actually, if you should go to BC Backer, he's explaining this much better than me. But my point was that the last time that Bitcoin broke its all-time high, or touched its all-time high, was in January 2017, right? And the XRP, for example, pumped in March. So it was a delay of a few months. So imagine you see Bitcoin, pumping, and you have to wait for 2 months looking at Bitcoin pumping, right? And you're looking at your at that point 0.005 XRP doing nothing, right? Must be very frustrating. Well, this is similar here. If we have something like this, we might have to be patient in terms of Bitcoin might pump and might have a delay, right? And hopefully we'll do catch up in price to some degree, but keep in mind that we might have to be more patient. So looking at the past, we might have to be more patient. And if this actually doesn't happen, maybe we don't have two pumps. Maybe we have a bigger one in total. Maybe it grows with Bitcoin, or only at the end of the Bitcoin cycle. So in that case, you have to be even more patient, right? So that's what I wanted to show you. And also, let's go to some news related to one thing that I think that is important, and we talked about this in the past as well. I think that we have a few factors here, so that could influence the markets, and I don't know yet if Bitcoin is entirely decoupled from bad events on the market. It might, I don't know. But indeed, it is actually a wild card. You don't have any way of predicting how Bitcoin will actually go. But I think that watching the stimulus, the stimulus bill, the progress on the stimulus bill is important. I think that seeing how the election stabilizes next week is also important. And I also think that, of course, probably this is the most important thing, how the pandemic is actually evolving across the world, in the US, but across the whole world. So going back to the stimulus bill, this week, actually, Jerome Powell still thinks U.S. needs more stimulus for full recovery. So, at the beginning of the last month, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell called for more fiscal stimulus from Congress, cautioning that the U.S. could face tragic consequences if lawmakers didn't take action. Call on Thursday suggesting that for more Americans, direct fiscal support may be a better option than a Fed-backed loan that might be difficult to repay. Powell identified two major risks: surging cases of the coronavirus across the United States, which brings the potential for more economic shutdowns, and the expiration of CARES Act benefits that said would be addressed by additional stimulus legislation from Congress. Powell said CARES Act was absolutely essential in supporting the recovery that we've seen so far, and I do think that it's likely that further support is likely to be needed from monetary policy and fiscal policy. For investors, Powell is arguably a more important figure in Washington than whoever will occupy the White House come in 2021, Baron Nicholas Jasinski pointed out last month. So that's one article that I wanted to bring up. I mean, Jerome Powell came and said these things, and it's very urgent. And if they don't get their shit together, because they have been trying to do this for months and they didn't manage to get to a conclusion because politics, and probably there was a play there, especially related to the election. The game is actually not over because Trump said that after the election, the stimulus will be back on the table, and they're gonna see a stimulus bill soon after that. But I think he was talking about from his perspective. I mean, if he wins, and if he didn't, I don't know what's gonna happen. But going to this aspect here, there's another part of the story. The imperative to act could not be greater. Stimulus talks to restart ahead of Biden presidency. Republican and Democratic lawmakers both plan to return to negotiating table for another stimulus package before President-elect Joe Biden swearing in. Talks over another stimulus bill for the U.S. May start in earnest next week, as both Democrats and Republicans call to pass more economic aid before the end of 2020 and the inauguration of the President-elect Joe Biden, whose win over President Donald Trump was called Saturday morning by every major U.S. news outlet after more votes from battleground states rolled in. While Biden has a COVID-19 relief plan of his own, which includes a second stimulus bill, checks for up to $1,200 per adult, and more unemployment benefits, it will be Trump who will sign a successful package if Congress is able to set aside deep partisan division and strike a deal. While we prepare for the new Biden administration, we must also move swiftly for a new coronavirus relief bill, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Friday. Before the call in Biden's favor, we want the Republicans to come back to the table, she added. The imperative to act could not be greater. At least they might understand a stimulus bill, and I think we need to do it before the end of the year. I think now that the election is over, to sit down and work this out, he said, reversing an earlier statement made before the election that something will not do right at the beginning of the year. Well, what I find funny here, and I think that now that the election is over, the need is there. The need was there before. Okay, so going back a little bit, going down in the page, in 20th of January, inauguration. Here are some possible scenarios that could play out over the coming weeks. A stimulus bill is completed before January 20. An agreement is made, and the current House and Senate vote. If Trump signs it into law, stimulus checks and other aid would likely begin to go out within weeks, with certain groups receiving financial help before the end of 2020. A stimulus deal is finalized and fails in either the Senate or House. In this situation, the Democrats and Republicans could advance their own proposals that might pass in the majority chambers but fail to be considered by the other. In this case, Congress might again try again after Biden is sworn in, included in a bill that also funds the government past December 11. It is possible that one piece of funding, for example, a stimulus check, unemployment aid, or an extension of the eviction stay, could make it into the bill to keep the government funded past December 11th of December, and avoid shutdown. A sitting president, Trump, would need to sign the bill into law for it to take effect. Talks once again fall apart. This is another possibility. Talks once again fall apart until after January 20. If partisan differences keep a bill from forming or passing, it's likely they restart in some capacity after the inauguration in January. So, when could the stimulus bill pass? We've come up with 5 possible dates, both before and after the November election. If a bill does pass that includes a direct payment, sorry, I caught a cold. Here's how quickly we think the IRS could send a second stimulus check. Vote, Senate, President signs. So, November 23rd, 24th, 25th. December, another option is December 11th, 12th, 13th. February 1st, after inauguration, 2nd, 3rd. February 16th, 17th. So, why I'm showing you this? I believe that it is a possibility that we might be facing a tough winter, especially in terms of the pandemic. This the lack of the first time you see what happened to the market, we've seen a big drop there, and they learn what to do in this situation. They have some experience from the first time this time, and probably they should actually act faster than last time, where they stimulated the market with this. If they don't, we might be in for another big, or not maybe not that big, but at least something a drop in the market, right? So, in the case if Bitcoin will be affected as well, we'll probably have a drop in Bitcoin or crypto in general. So these possibilities actually might affect the price of Bitcoin. That's why I wanted to go through this. And let's go back a little bit to Bitcoin. February. Would be interesting if it happened in February, right? When basically it starts before it starts to grow again. This just well, you know that I saw something in more people that believe a lot in TA. And this, I think BC Becker as well talked about this, that sometimes you can see the correlation in charts with events very nicely, and somehow it also is reflected into the charts and the patterns that are usually forming in that type of situation. So it could be interesting, but yeah, of course it's just speculation on my part. I'm just playing around. So that's by the way, why I'm talking about Bitcoin on this part a lot here, because I think that he's the leader of the market when the bull market starts. I mean, he's driving it. He's the big gorilla in the crypto market. He's basically, I think that the cycles are actually related to the halvings, and adjustments on the market in terms of demand. So basically, if Bitcoin starts to grow, the others will follow along, right? So my eyes now are on Bitcoin. I don't care very much if the altcoins are actually even bleeding in price. I mean, even in the past, it took a while until altcoins caught up and then surpassed it. So I think in this moment, this is my perspective, I think that my eyes are actually on Bitcoin. I don't care what the alts are doing right now, right? So that's why I think it's important to look at Bitcoin and what it does in the next period. So I think we're done with the video today. Thank you very much for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends and family. Be patient and have a great rest of the weekend.